Hey fellow expeditionists, we're in the Hoosier National Forest at the Shirley Creek Trailhead. And today we're not only backpacking a new to us area, we're also on a scientific expedition.
We're looking for evidence of the brood 10 periodical cicada.
When looking for hiking and backpacking information online, you can visit the Hoosier National Forest homepage. Click on the Recreation tab on the left, then click on the Hiking tab, and this will give you the option for day hikes or backpacking. Clicking on Backpacking brings up a list of longer trails that all have the option for dispersed camping. Since our goal was to backpack somewhere that the brood 10 cicada emergence could be happening, we were specifically looking for somewhere in either Monroe or Lawrence County, as we had heard many reports of cicadas in those areas. We decided to visit a property that we have never hiked, the Shirley Creek Trail, which is open to backpacking, mountain biking, and horseback riding. The trail complex contains 19 miles of intersecting trails, all emanating from the Shirley Creek Horseman's Camp. Well, we are starting to find the shells of the cicadas here at Shirley Creek in the Hoosier National Forest. Quite a few of the exoskeletons, actually. We still have yet to actually find living ones crawling around yet, but I'm sure we're going to find something. And the reason we decided to check out Shirley Creek for this little adventure, we've been hearing reports of the brood emerging in Monroe County and Lawrence County. So we kind of thought about we could either go somewhere like the Dean Wilderness in Monroe County or come down further to Lawrence County, since down here of course it's warmer and all this national forest land, and we've never been to Shirley Creek. And it's kind of interesting, there's like very little information on Shirley Creek here in Indiana for the Hoosier National Forest. Like there's almost no YouTube videos of it from people backpacking. I think it's mostly because it's better known as a horseman's area. But it's got like 17 miles of trails with dispersed camping, so there's no reason we can't. So we thought, you know what, we're going to check it out.
Yep.
Alright, well, we are not finding as many of the cicadas as we had hoped, but the evidence has been very thorough. Probably a dozen of the shells or more, the exoskeletons. Yeah. And of course, we just now found the one live one on a giant blade of grass. So pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
And this is the 17-year cicada. And catfish will be 17 in July. So these bugs we're finding are literally as old or older than catfish.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
One cool thing about exploring the Hoosier National Forest is it's pretty common to find ruins of old homesteads and such out in the forest. And I'm assuming that's what I've found here. Definitely some kind of stone-built construction here. I'm not sure what this was supposed to be, but it's definitely got some water at the bottom of it. So I don't know if maybe this was part of a well. Looks like there's frogs in there right now. Or maybe a spring, or where they kept things cool at. I don't know. Interesting stuff, though. So we are definitely not going for miles on this little backpacking adventure here at Shirley Creek today. We're just exploring and obviously looking for the cicadas. It seems to be the trick for that is not to be looking on the trees like I would have expected, but to get just a little off the trail and look at the understory in the grass and the taller weeds. And that's where we're finding them all so far.
Yep.
It's kind of warm today, high in the mid-80s, so I'm already sweating. But I'm really enjoying this hike here at Shirley Creek so far. It's been really enjoyable. Alright, we have finally found the cicada apocalypse area. I've already seen at least 4 or 5 in these weeds right in front of us here. Catfish is just getting a picture of these two here. Well, one. You can see the cicada and its shell that it just emerged from. And as you look throughout the weeds here, you see this multiple times. Several shells, more cicadas. I'm really liking this Shirley Creek area here in the Hoosier National Forest. It's really a beautiful forest. I mean, just look at this view here behind us. That's just a beautiful dry creek bed, but the forest is very pretty. It's pretty much standard for your southern Indiana type stuff. Lots of rolling hills, dry creek beds, a very green forest down here. Still a lot of spring wildflowers hanging on. I'm just enjoying it also because, besides it's our first backpacking adventure of the year, the fact that there's been 0 other people out here. Literally the only other time we've seen anybody was the Horseman's campground where we parked to start our hike, and not a soul since then. Perfect. Cicadas are nothing to fear. I know there's a lot of people that get really weirded out by them, but they cannot hurt you. They might get tangled in your hair. That's about it. Yep, not dangerous at all. He'll throw a fit for a minute, but he'll be fine. Did you ever figure out what that other bug is?
It's like a little bug type thing.
So we might be figuring out why Indiana backpackers don't come down here to Shirley Creek as often as other places. Number one, lack of water. There's pretty much no sign of water anywhere. And number two, lack of any good dispersed camping sites. You know, pretty much every other location in the Hoosier National Forest I've been to that has dispersed camping, you can pretty much always find little trails, offshoots that go to some really cool campsites pre-built from prior campers over the years. I'm finding nothing like that here at Shirley Creek so far. No campsites whatsoever off of the main trails. So I'm starting to understand why it's not been a major backpacking destination. Well, we got up here to this intersection of trails, and this intersection is the first place that's even viable to camp at, but I don't know if by National Forest rules it's really technically a campsite. But there is a picnic table here. I think it's just supposed to be a rest point at the intersection of trails, but there is also a fire ring back here. And I don't know why you would want a fire ring if you couldn't camp here. And the creek bed actually has water in it right here, whereas it had none earlier. And there's enough of a flow to it up there that I would feel safe filtering it. And that's pretty much the only spot we have found that would be worthy of actually camping at for the night. That wouldn't involve cutting down a bunch of leaves and weeds and plants, which kind of violates our standards on leave no trace. We didn't want to do that, and if we couldn't find something, we were just going to continue hiking until we got back to the car and be done for the night. Alright, we've decided not to camp here it just doesn't feel right camping at a 3-trail junction with potentially lots of traffic, horse traffic in particular, coming through. And with the creek here actually having water, it's the one spot where they can stop and water their horses and such. So I just don't feel that it's the right place for us. Huh?
Yeah.
Well, I decided to climb up this little ridgetop. It looked like the ridgetop might potentially be flat. And for the most part, I am correct. This would actually work for some campsites. Now, there's no evidence of any disturbance up here, no evidence of any kind of fire rings, so it's kind of pristine. But it would be a good area for them. I don't know if we are prepared to create our own up here or not, but making a mental note of this for the future. Well, on one of the ridge tops, and just come up on this pretty pond. I think we've kind of given up on the idea of actually dispersed camping out here in Shirley Creek, but we have still really enjoyed it out here. It's a beautiful forest, and we've had it entirely to ourselves today, which is just amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Alright, that is our little expedition today here at Shirley Creek Trail in the Hoosier National Forest. We came here today with two main purposes. Number one, to document the cicada apocalypse, and number two, to explore a new to us area. And I think both were an amazing success, even if we're not going to disperse camp here. It was really something. Catfish?
Yep.
Any thoughts?
I thought it was really cool here. It was just kind of new to us after being up in northern Indiana for a few weeks. I like the area with the creek beds that had water in them. I liked finding the cicadas out in the fields. In some places there were a bunch of them.
Yeah, I'm going to throw up a map right here. So there is the trail map here around, and it's like 17 miles of intermingled trails there. And here I'm going to highlight now exactly what we hiked today. I want to say it's pretty close to 7 miles, so you can see that there's still a lot more to be explored. And this section right here, down in the valley, that is the main area that we found the cicadas. Up on the ridge tops, there weren't nearly as many. There were some, and early in our video you've seen a lot of the exoskeletons, the shells left behind, but we didn't really start finding the actual insects until we got down to that valley area circled. So it was really cool though to see them. It wasn't quite the millions per acre like the media likes to blow it up, but it's still early, it can still happen, and we really enjoyed seeing them, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yep, seeing insects as old as catfish.
Yep.
Alright, we're going to move on to the next adventure. Till then, peace out.